Hello.
Hey! Oh, what is it?
I don't know.
Oh,
I have to
we're
cough.
Good. You're allowed
Sorry.
to cough. It's okay. Hi, Mama. Good
How we
evening.
doing?
Good evening. How are you doing?
We're always just, running around and then
Then we sit down,
running in to sit here. We just finished dinner
which was delicious. We had
and
salmon,
and
leftover rice, and
I made this
potatoes.
stuff. I don't even know what day I made it, and I didn't know there was more left in the fridge. I made bacon jam.
It's really good.
I don't know if you've ever had that or know that that's even a thing, but it's exactly what you think it is.
It would be. You would
Bacon
love it,
jam.
Mama.
Yeah, it's like caramelized onions and bacon
Is
and
garlic in it?
I don't remember. And
Butter and syrup.
And apple cider.
Apple cider. The apple cider that came from New York, actually, like a year ago. It's been in our fridge.
my
We put some of that
gosh.
apple cider into the
Okay.
bacon jam.
Anyway, it wasn't bad. The bacon jam
I
was
think it was bad.
amazing. Yeah,
All right, we
that's what we just did.
are going to be going over John, the first part of John 14. I think just verses 1 through 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wrote down like so many things.
I wrote down not a lot of things. So
I
Rachel's
wrote
the big writer down.
I was just, sometimes I write a lot, sometimes I don't write anything. But I just was feeling this.
Feeling the spirit.
Well, I did this over the weekend when you were away.
Running.
And I just had all my quiet time without you bothering me.
Yeah, just you and the dog and the pig.
And I don't know. I just thought it was really good. So I will be quiet now and you may speak.
Speaking of pigs, Mom, if you want to pray for us tomorrow, we're going to be loading 3 pigs to the butcher.
Yeah.
So hopefully that goes well. It's always a fun day, pig loading day.
What do they say? You don't really
know someone until you load pigs with them.
So,
Okay, so we're going to read John 14, chapter 14, verses 1 through 14.
Yes. Say 14 again.
Why don't you just read it all?
14. Oh, I don't. Okay.
Yeah, because I have to get close to my Bible.
Would you like to pray for us?
Oh, yeah, we can pray.
Praying is good. Do you?
No, I don't really like praying that much, but being honest. Okay, God, thank you so much for this time. I pray that we can honor you. I thank you for your word. I thank you for my mama and for anybody else that wants to watch this. I pray that you talk to us and teach us something that Jesus is telling his disciples in this chapter, something that's pertinent that we can take with us and live a life more approved by you and help us to grow closer to you. In your son's name we pray, amen.
Okay. Jesus comforts his disciples. So remember last time,
Are you reading or are we talking?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just kidding. Go ahead. Remember last time?
Right. Last time, he's about to go to the cross and he's all worried about making sure they're comforted. And here we are again. He's comforting them again. When he's got some stuff that he could be thinking about and he could be worried about. But he's making sure that they're okay. Okay. Chapter 14. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me. In my Father's house there are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. I am going there to prepare a place for you. I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going. Thomas said to him, doubting Thomas here, Lord, we don't know where you are going, so how can we know the way? Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really knew me, you would know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. Philip said, Lord, show us the Father, and that will be enough.
And that will be enough.
That will be enough for us. I'm having trouble. I'm sorry. Jesus answered, don't you know me, Philip? Even after I have been among you such a long time, anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? Don't you believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? The words I say to you are not just my own. Rather, it is the Father living in me who is doing his work. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, or at least believe me on the evidence of the miracles themselves. I tell you the truth. Anyone who has faith in me will do whatever I have been doing. He will do even greater things than these, because I am going to the Father, and I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Son may bring glory to the Father. You may ask anything. You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Okay. You're welcome. All right. I don't even know what I wrote. I did this so long ago.
Well, you should go ahead and talk. Because
No, I
don't
just
have
spoke
a lot.
a lot of
You
speaks.
spoke a lot of
So
speaks.
go on.
Oh, you just talked and read.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to say, this is following on the prior chapter. Where,
Oh, you want to talk about something from before?
Well, I was going to do it, but I was going to do it after we read first.
Okay.
But, so Jesus is comforting his disciples, and what is he comforting them from? He's comforting for. He's comforting them because he just told them, "I'm going to die," basically.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys loved him. They were very close, and to learn that your leader is going to sacrifice his life is a little deep, sad,
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like telling, "Hey, don't be sad." And what is it? In verse 2, it says, "My Father's house has many rooms. If that were so, would I have? If that were not so,
right.
would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you?" And I kind of realized that supported 13:36b, the chapter before, when Simon Peter asked, "Lord, where are you going?" He says, "But I'm going where I'm going. You cannot follow now, but you will follow later."
Yeah.
So it got me thinking, like, well, maybe that's why I'm not dead yet, because God's got a place for me, and He's getting it ready for me, and He's not ready for me yet, so I don't get to go. And then sometimes I get surprised by the ignorance of the disciples, but
I mean, what would you do if you were there? They're just acting like normal people.
Well, but my perspective is I'm playing Monday morning quarterback because I've got the Bible in front of me. I know the history. Like these guys are living in it, and Jesus is talking to them right now, and Judas is on his way to go get the police, right? So
put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, in their shoes, I'd be asking the same questions, right? Exactly. So I get surprised by their lack of knowledge of things sometimes, but really I shouldn't be.
Hindsight's 2020.
That's what I wrote. Yeah. I shouldn't be.
Did you write hindsight's 2020?
I said hindsight. My perspective is hindsight, and I have the Bible. They don't have the Bible.
They
don't have John chapter 1. They don't have this reference, right? They're just talking to Jesus, and he's saying, "Yeah, I'm going to go now." They're like, where are you going to go? Well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And if you go, what does that mean for me? That's what I would be thinking if I was one of them. So maybe I shouldn't be so surprised. Do you want to talk?
I have things to say.
Why don't you say something?
So I love the beginning of this, right? Do not let your hearts be troubled, right? He tells us that all the time, like, don't worry about stuff. Here he is saying again, don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God, trust also in me. So I said, once again, Jesus is comforting them. He's about to have the worst day of his life. And he's telling them, you guys, it's going to be okay for you, right? So I just, again, it tells us about his character, that he's caring about other people, and he's not thinking of himself right now. Okay, so then as we go on, verse 3, like you said, it says, the second half, 3b says, I will come back and take you with me, that you may also be where I am, right? And so they're asking these questions, like, how can we know where you're going, right? All along the way in the chapters before this, he kept saying, like in John chapter 13, verse 36, he said, where I'm going, you cannot follow now, but you will follow later. And he keeps telling them later. And now's the time. Okay, now we're changing the tune after all this time. I've said you cannot follow. Now he's saying you will follow me, right? This time he does not tell them they cannot follow. He reassures them that they will be with him.
One day, just not now.
Right, not now. But before he was saying you can't follow. Now he's saying, okay, you're going to follow me, right?
Yeah, I think he said it last chapter too.
No. Look at verse 36 in chapter 13.
Right.
He says,
you cannot follow now.
Right, you cannot. He says, Simon Peter asked him, Lord, where you're going? Where I am going, you cannot follow now, but you will follow later. And here he says, in verse 3, he says, I will come back and take you with me that you all may also be where I am. I feel like he's just giving them more reassurance.
Yeah, that's the next step.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. I feel like it's, a little bit more reassuring to them than it has been before. So now here comes, Thomas. He's known as doubting Thomas, right? Because he doubts everything. But again, put yourself in his shoes. So he says, Thomas said to him, Lord, we don't know where you're going, so how can we know the way? And what's he come back with? How does he respond to them? To respond to Thomas?
That he is the way.
Right. Here's another I am statement. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Right. And then Philip gets all confused. He's like, I said, Jesus tells the disciples, if you know me, you know my Father as well. And Philip is asking, show me, right? So how many times in our life have we doubted things and we just want someone to show us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I've got a...
Do you see where I'm going?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
You keep talking, but
No,
if you leave off Philip.
Oh, what do you mean?
You were talking about Philip.
Yeah.
Because I was going to read from this concordance. It talks about that.
About what I'm saying?
About the passage of Philip questioning.
Okay, so I'll just say what I
thought.
Like, I literally didn't get this from anywhere. It's just what I was thinking.
Your brain.
Yeah.
Talking to you.
Yeah. So
what you said. What you said.
I said we can't always see the things that we want to say. See, this is major faith right here, like a major moment. Often we hear people say, like, well, seeing is believing, right? Like, if you told me something, maybe not you, some stranger I don't know that I don't trust, I'd be like, well, if someone said, oh, I'll pay you later, well, I don't believe you. Like, I'm not going to give you this thing if you don't pay me now, or whatever it is.
Janet.
What?
Janet.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Okay, never mind. That's a different story. So
you're a Mennonite,
right?
They trust everybody.
I don't know. I just feel like in our society, in our culture, it's like, in order to trust someone, like, you need to show me. You need to prove it. I need to see it to believe it. I said we need to believe without physically seeing here, right? This is hard for us because anything else here, if we like gain someone's trust, sometimes it's because they've shown us something, right? And yes, he's shown them miracles and things, but they've not actually physically seen, or we've not actually physically seen, Jesus. We see things that he's done in our lives, but we've not physically seen him. We need to open our eyes and our mind to find God's hand at work in our lives. He's not going to actually like jump out of the Bible and say, hey, that was me. Like, that thing that like worked out for you, like, that was me. He's not going to say that, right? We just have to believe and have faith in him. You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I wrote down, it made me think of Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. So I'm going to stray away from the Philip thing. So if you want to chime in on that.
So I've got my concordance, and it broke down what Philip was questioning pretty well. So I wanted to read it.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying making any sense at all?
Yes.
Okay. I just was making sure. Okay.
Mama wrote something. What's right?
Okay. She said, we know the whole story. They're in a radical group for that culture. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So this is a little bit about Philip.
Okay.
So Philip now inquires about this father-son relationship, and Jesus makes himself explicit. It is the Father himself who is present in Jesus, hence John's full divinity of Jesus. And this validates both the words and works. Whenever the Father is present, he manifests himself. This pertains to Jesus' followers as well, who will be enabled to exhibit similar works. Running through these verses is a theological parallel between the Father's relation to the Son and the Spirit's relation to the disciple. That was interesting. I've never heard that before. And it said, and that references, hang on. As the Father abides in Jesus, so too the Spirit abides in the believer. And verse 4:17, which is actually after 14, but we'll take a look at it real quick. Verse 17, I guess I'll read 16 and 17. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. That was verse 16 and 17. Thus, the confidence of Christ can be ours, as the Father was committed to his Son. So Jesus, through his Spirit, will stand with us in every need. The point of these verses is not that every prayerful request will be granted, but that the character of Christ's relationship with God at this level may be ours. But here we must recall Jesus's consistent submission to his Father's will and his desire simply to glorify and please God. So I thought what was interesting there was the correlation between God and Jesus and the Spirit in us.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
Okay. Hopefully I'm making sense, because I went off on like a tangent about faith, because I feel like this is like, they weren't having faith, and like the whole seeing is believing thing. Like, we really, in order to trust in God, like we're not going to physically see some things. Like, we just have to believe without seeing. So
you read this as they are lacking faith? I read that as they were just confused or ignorant.
Confused?
That's why I used the word ignorant when
Philip wanted them. Philip said, Lord, show us the Father and that will be enough for us. Like, he's saying, like, I need to see it to believe it.
Okay.
That's how I took it. Like,
maybe
I'm not going to really believe it until I see it. That's why I took it. So then that's where I went off into Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. So I wrote this down in a couple different verses just because I feel like that verse can be a little tricky. So this is from the NASB version.
11:1.
Mm-hmm. Now faith is the certainty of things hoped for, a proof of things not seen. So again, this goes back to what he's saying. He's like, just show me, right? But we need, like, we have to believe it without seeing it. And then I wrote down, this must have been in either the Message or, I'm not sure. I forgot to write down where I got it from. It says the fundamental fact of existence is that this trust in God, this faith, is the firm foundation under everything that makes life worth living. It's our handle on what we can't see. So that had to have been from the Message. So let me read that again. The fundamental fact of existence is that this trust in God, this faith, is the firm foundation under everything that makes life worth living. It's our handle on what we cannot see. And then I started to think about, like, okay, the handle on what we cannot see. Like, in my house, there's a handle and a railing. Like, so I can make it down the stairs. Like, if it was dark and I couldn't see, I would use that physical handle or that railing to get me down. Or if someone was blind, they would like use something when they can't see, right? So like in my mind, I feel like there's like a correlation that like if someone was blind, they're going to use something so that they can see, but they're not seeing physically, but it's helping them, right? So I feel like it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, well, we're not going to be able to physically see Jesus. We just have to believe it. And we have to, like, it's like almost like we're blind and we have to believe it without seeing it.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. Do you want me to keep going?
I have nothing else.
Okay. So then I wrote down, this was from the First 5 app that I use sometimes. And this was them writing about, I know we're not talking about Hebrews, but sorry, this is what I'm talking about. This is about that verse, Hebrews 11:1. Faith is being sure and certain. It's having complete assurance and trust in something or someone. It's believing in action first, ever before we experience a hopeful outcome or receive a fulfillment of a promise that's made. I said, honestly, we can't really fully trust anyone or anything except for Christ, right? Like, yes, we can try to trust each other, right? Hopefully we trust each other, but like, you're going to fail me. I'm going to fail you. The only person that's not going to fail us is Jesus Christ, right? I said, it's sort of ironic that the one that we cannot see in the flesh is the only one that we can 100% trust. Kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
But those we can't see here on earth will look us in the face and be like, well, you can trust me. And because we're sinners and we mess up, I'll tell you, you can trust me, but like, you know, those are the folks that are going to fail us from time to time, even when we try not to. So then I literally wrote back to John, verse 11. He says, believe me, or at least believe on the evidence of the miracles themselves, right? He's like, look, I did all these things. Like, you have to believe me.
That's exactly what he said to the Pharisees too in
Yeah.
chapter 7 or 8 or something like that. Yeah, when he was saying, you non-believers, you know, if you don't believe me, believe the works that I'm doing. Right?
Yeah.
Look, I've done these miracles.
Yeah.
I couldn't do those unless I was God.
Yeah. So I said our actions and our prayers should all be for. Oh, sorry. All right. Now I'm jumping down, and this will be the last few things that I say. To 14. This is what I was trying to tell you the other day. You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it. So I think sometimes this verse is taken out of context. It's like Jesus is not our genie in the bottle, and we can just say, "Well, this is in your name, and I'm asking for it," and He's just going to do it. That's not how it works. But that's what the verse says, right? It says, "You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it." Our actions and our prayers should all be for His glory. So I started digging a little bit deeper here. This took me a long time, but I thought it was really cool. So I said, it's not about me. It's about glorifying God. Can you turn to 1 John chapter 5, verse 14? Stick with me. I'm getting to the best part of all this.
1 John 5:14.
1 John 5:14 and 15.
All right. This is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us.
Mm-hmm.
And if we know that He hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have what we asked of Him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just wrote, huh?
Hang on. What? And if we know that He hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have what we asked of Him.
Right. So He's going to answer our prayers if it's something that's. But our prayers should reflect what honors Him, right? It should glorify Him, and He hears us. He hears our prayers. So,
so that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us.
Right.
So, you know, if I'm saying I want a thing, but I also say, if it's in your will, please
right.
grant me this
but
wish
He knows,
of mine. Right. So
in
He knows
your heart what your
yeah.
intentions are and what your motives are.
And by me saying, as long as it's in your will, I'm basically relinquishing to God, you know, yes, this is what I would like, but if you don't want me to have it, I'm okay with that. Like I would with you, Mom, when I was a kid, right? Like I want a thing,
yeah, I'm sure
I want a thing, right? And but you know, it's up to you if I get the thing.
Right.
You know that your son wants the thing, and maybe you get it for him.
But she knows
maybe you
better because she's
right.
wise.
Right. Yeah.
You
You know when I
you
deserve
know
the thing
better.
or don't deserve the thing.
Yep.
Right. Exactly.
Like
when I wanted fireworks, you're like, no, not at 6. You don't get fireworks.
Okay. So let me backtrack. Sorry. Do you have anything else to say about any of those things I just rambled on about? Did I make any sense at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to go back because here's another major I am statement, right? He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. So I pulled out
back to John
my Blue Letter Bible. And when you look in the Blue Letter Bible, it gives you
it's an app.
Well, yes. But it gives you information about the root word, like the Greek or the Hebrew, and where the word came from. So the way in here is hadas, which means, right? So He is the way, the truth, the life. He is the way, hadas. Hadas means a way, a traveler's way, a road, or journey. Makes sense, right? Jesus is the way. He's the journey, right? In our lives. The truth, aletheia, is the root word, or what that word translates to. It's not a root word, sorry. That's the Greek word, aletheia. And it means certainty, truth, reality, sincerity, straightforwardness. So I am the journey. I am certainty. And then life. Do you remember, like, when we talked about this before, like Zoe?
Different kind
and
of
I actually
life,
looked up how to pronounce it. I thought it was Zoe. It's Zoe or Bios, right? So we have life.
Breath.
Like we are alive, right? We have life in us, but like the word that they're talking about here, life, is not just being alive. It's living life to the fullest, like having a full life. So live life to the fullest, the absolute fullness of life, real, genuine, to last forever and ever. So those three words: hadas, the way, journey. Truth, aletheia, means certainty. He is certainty. And zoe, life to the fullest, genuine and real, to last forever and ever. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
So I just really like that. And I just feel like if we were all fluent in Hebrew and Greek, we would understand
it is-
so much more. So
It's kind of sad how pathetic our language is.
yeah.
when
So
butted up to the Bible.
yeah, but anyway, so I just thought that was beautiful and a really cool way to think about what those words mean and who Jesus is. So your mom said everything Jesus did was to glorify the Father, our God. Yes.
And she's thankful for his obedience.
Yes. I'm done speaking now. Just read it. Okay.
Go for it.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Ow.
I read for a long time and just kind of like immersed myself in it, and
me being an hour away was helpful
yes,
because I can go an hour away more often.
I don't know. It was really just good to sit down, and I mean, it was 14 verses, but I spent a really long time just not just reading and studying and praying, and it was really, really helpful. So that's all I have to say.
Last comment that I have was on verse 12. It just was a very humbling verse to me. So it says,
anytime he says, I tell you the truth, it's going to be good.
Very truly I tell you.
I tell you the truth.
My new NIV. Very truly I tell you. Whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing. It's not can or should, but will.
Will.
And they will do even greater things than these because I am going to the Father. So he's saying people should be doing not only what I'm doing, but better things than me. What did he do? He raised Lazarus from the dead, right? So I was like, well, okay, what am I doing? It's my question to myself. Like,
yes.
okay, well, am I, would Jesus be proud of me for the things that I've accomplished, or am I doing, or I'm not doing anything for him? I don't know. We're doing this. Mom, you're watching. I don't know what it was. Just it was a tough verse to read because I'm like, well,
the Bible should challenge you. Yeah. All right, I think I'm done talking now. You got anything else to say?
Mama said the most things.
Yes.
That she's the only one here. Thank you for coming.
Good job. All right, let's pray.
All right, God. Thank you for this night and for an opportunity to read your word and to talk about it and be with my wife over it. Thanks for my mama for joining us, and thanks for anybody else that is interested in this and wants to come to know who Jesus is. I pray, Lord, that you would speak to them, that you would give them an everlasting faith that would put eternity on their hearts and have them grow closer to you. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Have a great night, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Mama says,
sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams. You too.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.